Alrighty, morning guys. So, out here again, I decided to do the bootlet today. These other couple of panels, the front guards, they're sort of basically ready to go for a bit of filler and, you know, the odd little tweak when they're bolted back on the car, and then, you know, I don't know, several coats of high build and then block back and paint basically. So into the boot lid today. I thought that's probably the next real major task that needs a lot of work. Because for one, it's cracked and around the hinges. It's had holes drilled in everywhere from the when they did the variety bash. I've welded some up on the top, but I've never welded the ones underneath. Just trying to see. You know, it's sort of scaly, sort of rust everywhere. I've got to clean up all this sort of stuff. There's a bit of a dent in here. I think there's a crack. All those cracks in around the lock and the frame. Again, cracks in around here that need all tidied up and repaired. More holes. Yeah, like it's pretty solid for actual rust holes, but yeah, you can see in here it's starting to get fairly scaly, so I'll do my best to get in there and sandblast. Unfortunately, you know, I've got some reasonable access in here. I can blow in behind here a bit, sort of the best I can, and I'm probably even come around and I'll weld these holes up, but I'll worry about the inside first. Just try and get a bit of strength back in it and get it all cleaned up. So the first task will be to attack it with a wire wheel and get it sort of reasonably cleaned up, especially where I've got to repair. And then we'll go through and we'll start fixing stuff, especially these cracks and splits and stuff. Well, I have heard that you're meant to drill the end of the split with a little drill and round it off and then weld it up. So I'll do that. So hopefully we get it all cleaned up today. I'd like to do a panel per day if I can. This is a bit bigger one and a bit more involved. So I can't see me getting it all done in today, but I'll try. And it being Sunday, like I've got less time, so I've had to start at 10 o'clock because of the noise curfew on Sunday. But I've got all next week as well. So we'll get this done today if we can. Alrighty, we'll catch you later on with a bit more progress. Alrighty, so video update time again. So I actually gave this a light sandblast before, sort of in around all these affected areas with rust and stuff like that, and I've just started welding this crack up through here, and I've sort of, you know, there's one on the other side to weld up, but I mainly just gave it a good blast with a media blast to clean up all the crap, and I've went around with a wire wheel and sort of did all the places where I sort of needed to, and media blasted in around these holes every direction I possibly could to try and get rid of any loose scale and shit inside there. It's about all I've sort of done at the moment, so I'm just trying to get this welded up and to hold and be strong enough. Hopefully that doesn't break away again. I'm just trying to think of anything else I can probably do to make it stronger. Weld this one up anyway. So try and get a bit of guts back in that so it's not flexing around so much. And then I'll tack the other bits and pieces where at the hinge points and stuff. I don't know whether it's because I've had so much weight on it when they had all the crap welded. Well, they had all sorts of fucking shit bolted to this bloody poor old thing. So yeah, and then I'll go back around and grind all these off and fill these holes all in properly and stuff with the welder. And none of these holes should be here. None of them at all. So yeah, hopefully we can sort of get this booted, cleaned up pretty good, and save it for another fair few years anyway. Not with all that sort of scaly stuff inside. Like, it was probably starting to get rusty. Like, if you really was a bit braver, I'd have a go at actually trying to pop the seam and actually separate the two and clean it up that way. You know, or if I was probably in the States, I'd probably just hunt around or get a new lid skin. Anyway, getting bloody messages. Anyway, yeah, so that's about all I've done at the moment. So I'll get the rest of this all welded up and cleaned up. And alrighty guys, bit of a quick update. So I've welded these as I showed you before. Started welding these holes up. Still got that one there to go. Where else have we been? Welded the holes up in here. Welded all this crack up, and I've run a bit extra weld across the top just to help reinforce that corner, because it was pretty split up. It was split in about 3 or 4 places through there. So once I welded it up, I run another another bit of weld across the top just to give it a bit more guts to try and strengthen it. And there was a little sort of a zigzag split in here, so I welded that up. Haven't done anything else yet. Oh, I also have. I've zapped a couple of these holes up that were on the inner panel, and I just ground these off from last time. Still got to do these yet. And I've still got to get in here and weld this one up. This is a bit like the same like the other side, like it's all sort of broken in that corner. Hasn't broken here yet. I'm not sure about these holes whether they're factory or not, but I think I'm going to weld them up anyway. There's a couple on the other side, and again these, and then I should be just about done on the inside. I don't think there's any other little holes I've got to weld up. Just those in the centre, and yeah, finish tightening that up, and then I'll finish grinding it all off and cleaning it up, and then I'll do the other side. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else that needs to be done, because that's a drain hole. Drain hole on the other side. Actually, it's not a bad idea. They actually put drain holes in these bloody things, but a lot of them don't have drain holes in the corners. So yeah, if you're pointing downhill, it sort of sits in here and rots. Yeah, no, it's just those few to go, and then I'll flip it over. Right, I'll get back to you shortly. Cheers. Righty, so bit of an update on the boot lid again. It's now the next day. It's Monday. Yeah, so I got most done underneath yesterday, but I sort of got to the point where I'd sort of been working so much and I needed to just take a break, just to relax for sort of half a day. So I'm back out here today. Now this is the side that sort of really matters, I suppose, the most, like for body work and all that sort of stuff. Generally down through each side, like down through here, those pieces, like it's pretty good for lack of damage, I should say, for the poor abuse that this poor thing's had. But like where I've had to weld these holes up there, it's not bad, but it's you got these pressure marks in here from where they've had shit clamped on it or bolted onto it. And the same in here. I've tried to sort of flatten it out the best I can with that and a hammer, because I can't get them behind to dolly it. So I've just gone along with that and a hammer and just sort of found the higher spots. I've just bashed down on it and try to flatten it out. And I've done the same through here where they've had all this crap welded on it. Like it's still very up and down, but I've tried to get it so it sort of the high bits flatten out and trying to even it out. Well, not so much of a difference. So I'm going to end up with filler through here, and hopefully not too thick, but there's going to be a bit. I just can't avoid it without finding another boot lid skin. So yeah, that's what I've got done. I've got the top sort of cleaned up the best I can. I may have another go over with the hammer and the spoon and try and see if I can get it a bit flatter, but I'll work on it again. So now I'm going to weld all these holes up where they've drilled bloody holes in it everywhere. And I'm contemplating drilling these trim holes up too for the chrome. I'll need to get my tail lights out and just check these ones, because I think I need that hole and that hole, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Or yeah, I think I do. I think there's some big long screws that go through there and bits and pieces. But I'm contemplating welding all the rest of these up, and just so they're not there. And if I ever do find the trim at some point and I've still got the car and whatever, I'll re-drill them, and I'll just leave it blank in the meantime and try and make it look like it's meant to be that way. It's about the best I can do until I even find the trim for it. The biggest problem is because of my lack of cash. I really need to spend the money I have on making it run and drive and getting it painted, instead of chasing trim stuff as well, and trying to make it, as good as I can, but with all the pieces that are missing, because I've got no badges at all. But I'm gonna leave some of the badge holes on the front guards. Like, I've welded all up the trim holes, but I'm gonna leave the badge holes, because hopefully at some point I can stumble across them and put them on. But yeah, these here I'm gonna weld up, I've decided, and do the best I can. And if I ever find them, well, we'll just have to re-drill them and put them on. So yeah, I'll get to welding all this shit up. So yeah, I'll double check with the tail lights and just see whether they fit in there and which bits I need to leave and which bits I don't need. So yeah, I'll get to this and weld all this mess up, and hopefully I can do this reasonably easy without blowing bloody holes everywhere. Fortunately, it's amazing what you can tidy out with a grinder later on and reshape it, but I don't want to be chasing freaking everywhere if I can avoid it. So I'll get on and do this, and hopefully I'll get this all cleaned up by tonight, and then I can move on with something else, one of the doors or the bonnet or something like that. I still need to work out what I'm doing for this bonnet scoop for this car too, but my biggest bloody problem is I really need to get these engine mounts. It's been a bloody curse. I've got one now, well, I can get one now, but the guy can't find the other bloody one, which is a real friggin' pain in the ass. I don't know why these things are so hard to get over here. So yeah, I'm still in that battle of trying to find engine mounts, because I really need to put the motor and the trans in temporarily, put the intake manifold, put the carburetor on, and figure out where this bloody air cleaner hole sits with the rest of it, because it's probably not going to be too bad because it's going to be underneath, but I'd like to be able to have it so the air cleaner is central with that, because I could put a carb spacer in there and lift it and get a bit more air velocity, air speed and air velocity, and just raise the air cleaner through the bonnet a little bit. Or put a big tool filter in it or something, and then I can utilise that, having that fucking hole there, and build myself a bonnet scoop, which is my plan. Get a pen. I want to build a low profile Hemi type scoop. It's probably going to be, I'll just draw a couple marks on here somewhere, about that size. If you can see where those blue marks are, wherever I drew that one. Oh yeah, there. So around that sort of size, slightly tapered back and across, and basically the same size on the other side, obviously, and about I'd like to think a couple inches tall at the front and probably an inch, maybe a little bit over an inch at the back, or maybe a little bit, maybe inch and a half or something like that. Just taper it back, and yeah, and then maybe just have a centre post in it. We'll see. I don't know. It just depends. I have to measure up how much steel I need, and I'll probably get somebody to bend the major bends in it, and then I'll weld it up or whatever in the corners and make it a bonnet scoop, and I'll bolt it on. I don't think I'll body work it in. I'll just body work the bonnet scoop and get it fitting, so when I bolt it on, it looks good. Obviously, no big stupid gaps or anything stupid. So I'll body work them to each other and make it look good. Righty, I'll leave it at that, guys. I'll get on with this boot lid and get this holes finished welded up, and we'll get back to you. Cheers. Right, just a very, very quick update. So I've only welded one hole, but you have a look at that, you basically can't tell where that hole was before. One in there. So yeah, the secret to welding up holes like this that I've found anyway, is to just slowly dab a bead of weld beside each other on one edge. It'll probably burn away a bit for a start off, but just put a bead of weld on there, and as it sort of as the redness goes away, hit another one beside it, and as it goes away, hit another one beside it, and hit another one beside it, until you build up an edge, and then just keep coming backwards and forwards, just quietly. Don't go fast. Don't get too much heat on it. Just let it keep cooling, and then just keep coming along until you build it up, and then until you basically fill the hole up. It's amazing. Like I'm self-taught. I have not done any welding courses at all. I've just self-taught doing panel work. To be honest, I haven't welded piss all like heavy steel. All I've done is just body work, and it's really only been in the last sort of 2 or 3 cars that I've done it mainly myself. Before that, I had a lot of help, when I was younger. Yeah, like I've just learnt mainly through watching videos, but through just trial and error and low voltage, low wire speed. I've got a 180 amp welder, and it's wound basically right down. I think I've got the wire speed on 2, I think. So I've just got a little bit faster wire speed than I have voltage. Voltage wound right down. Yeah, and I just build a little bead each time beside it, and just let it cool. Get that red bead, and then just as it's starting to disappear, bang another one beside it. Just as that redness is starting to disappear, bang another one beside it, and just keep building it like that. Yeah, especially like this stuff here, it's not so bad. Like the thicker stuff, like okay, when it gets a bit rusty, it gets pretty thin. But I haven't done a lot of metal work on newer stuff either. With a lighter gauge, like this is good 60 stuff, and I think the older stuff is even better because it's thicker again. Like the 40s and 50s and 30s and all that sort of stuff. I think it's even heavier panel steel again. Yeah, but that's my tip for you for welding holes like that. Just you're gonna get it burnt. It's gonna burn away, but just persevere and just put a blob in it, and then put a blob in it, and then put a blob in it, and just build it up. And don't go like that. To do it sort of towards where the steel is, if you can. Sort of run it so you're welding onto the edge of it, and sort of let it build, and sort of keep building it back and run it across. Like you'll soon figure it out. But yeah, nice low wire speed, nice low voltage, and yeah, I've used gas and gasless. Gas is definitely way better, but you can do it with gasless. My, my last car I did it with gasless. Only that's because what my father's welder who I had, and I had actually bought him a welder years before that, but I sold it with moving backwards and forwards between countries and stuff like that. Um, and that's when I sort of first learned to sort of play with it. But I've just learned how to weld by welding. Um, that's all I can tell you. Just watch a few videos, get an idea of how people are doing it. Yeah, and just take your time and just you'll get faster. Um, Alrighty, guys, we'll get back to it. Cheers. Alrighty, so I just welded that hole up. I haven't ground anything off, so it just shows you um, what you can do, and just persevere and just don't go too fast. Let the weld cool. Put that blob on when it's red hot, and then as you're looking through your mask and you see the heat disappear, then put your next one in. And just keep working backwards and forwards, and you'll get there. So I'll grind that up now and see how it turns out. And if I have to put some more weld in there, I'll put some more weld in there. Righty, back again. I've just ground that off. Like I haven't quite got enough weld in places. I can hear like it's just a bit thin in spots. So I'll put a wee bit more weld in there and build it up. So at least when I come to doing body work, I like actually like filler and primer and all that stuff. I'm not trying to fill stupid stuff like that with a filler or whatever. So I can put a bit more weld in there and clean it up and shape it, and that's better than trying to put bog in there or Bondo, whatever you want to call it. So it looks good, and then I'll carry on with the rest of them, I suppose, and weld these up. I don't know what they've had on here. All the pictures I've looked at of all the cars, I can't figure out what this is for. I thought it might have been something for a badge on the car, but I don't think it is. I think it's something they've had screwed on there as well. So I'll weld that and weld all that up. That'll clean all that up. The only hole that really needs to be in here is this one. Righty, carry on. Cheers. Alright, how you going, guys? So back again. I just flicked a bit of primer on there just to get an idea, make sure we're still looking alright. So that's what all those holes look like all welded up. I've still got the odd pinhole in there, but I'll let that dry and I can probably just grind off and weld those odd little holes up. So that's looking pretty good. So yeah, I'll carry on here now, get these ones done, clean up around there and weld them up. So that looks heaps better than all those bloody holes. So at least now it'll look like it's meant to be like that when I do all the body work and everything. So yeah, be interesting. I don't know. I have to think about what I'm going to do down the back here just to try and break it up a bit. But I could do something in here to make it look different. I could black it out maybe. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see what happens when I get a bit further on and figure out what I'm going to do. Righty, guys. Anyway, it's a quick shot of what I've been doing. Cheers. Right, so a little bit of final update for the day, night, whatever. I just finished this because when I was about to I was grinding off these bits to clean them up with a little air sander, and it's like, man, what the hell is that noise? I said, that's a hell of a racket, and ended up the bolts had come loose on the head on the compressor and blew the head gasket, which was real bloody handy. Fortunately, it was just sort of, it's almost papery. It's not quite papery, but it's very, very similar. Like it's almost sort of feels like a plastic, or sort of something like that, some sort of plasticky nylon, or I don't know. Anyways, so I pulled that all apart and had a look at it, because just had a warranty because I've had it a bit over 12 months, and the warranty only lasts 12 months. So I've had some gasket paper there, so I cut up a gasket, put on it, tightened it up, checked all about the bolts and on the other head, and fortunately it works. So yeah, I've just finished welding that before I go back inside. So yeah, so that was my event for the day, so it took me a wee while to get that sorted. So anyway, that'll do for now. Yes, I finally got that all welded up, and because of my noise curfew I can't grind it off, so I'll come and do that in the morning. Cheers.